Bearded Redneck here. Gonna do this video backwards. Just got home. I was out night fishing. I didn't have any lights except my headlamp, so I couldn't really film. But hit a couple bridges. Got 3 good eater catfish. Got the first 2 in about 5 minutes. The second one was a little bit longer because I didn't realize that I ran out of bait. But what these catfish are doing, I'll show you tomorrow. They're in pre-spawn right now, and they're kind of easy to find, and they're going to put the feed bag on before they spawn here. So take a look at this, and I'll show you how I'm catching them. What? All right, guys, see the rapids? You go down from the rapids a little bit, and you find these slow water little cut-ins like this one here that are just off the fast water. These are where these catfish come in at night and feed. Here's another place with rapids, and you can see up on the top there's the little cut-ins with the slow water. You want deep water that's below these rapids. That's where the catfish hide during the day, and at night they come up in these little cuts, how you can see right here, and they trap bait fish in there, and they're feeding. Down by this rock is a really good spot, all along this high bank. There's a lot of these places around that a lot of people aren't utilizing. People drive past them and you wouldn't think there's fish in there. They come up these and they spawn. Now if you look here, this one isn't that big at all, but it's got the moving water and then this slow water along the side, and it's deeper out here in the center. So these catfish hide out in the center here during the day, and they go up along the shores and feed at night. You can catch a lot of nice eater catfish, and sometimes I've caught some really big ones doing this when I go out after dark because they creep up in here. So definitely get out and try this. All right, folks, just finishing up cleaning catfish. Got one left here. The way I like to clean these catfish is if you see right up in here, I'll start my knife here, and usually if you see this fin right here, I'll cut from here down to that fin. Then I can go over the rib bones and get a boneless fillet. I like to do this as all possible because my kids and wife and everybody whine about bones, and then actually I feed catfish to people that say, I'd never eat a catfish, they're nasty, they eat crap. Well, you know what? They're amazing, and I throw it in with some walleye or tell people they're having walleye, and they love it, so they're full of it. You know, it's just like the people that tell me I don't eat wild game. It's like my mission in life to feed them deer or what have you, turkey that's wild. But you can go right over the top of those rib bones, and you get a real nice fillet here. And I always tell people, if you're sawing with your knife, it's not sharp. You should be able to just push. I mean, watch how I do this. And the reason I go up high up here is because with the bigger catfish, there actually is a bigger chunk of meat. But watch my knife. See how I'm just pushing? And then watch here, even on the skin side. This is where people have trouble usually. Just pushing. Now, I know some of you are going to say there's a little scrap on those catfish, but you know what? I have chickens and barnyard animals, and they love catfish too. So I fillet them like this. They're boneless, and everything gets used because they eat them. All right, guys, so as you can see, there's probably some areas around where you live that are like that, and they're usually underutilized, and people don't even think to fish there. Now, basically what I was using to catch those, just almost like a Lindy rig here, and I probably got about a 14-inch leader, and then I was using chub, just hooked through right up by the spine behind the head. That wasn't working the best, but I did catch a couple on that. I was getting more gar, because there's a lot of short nose and long nose gar where I'm from. But what I ended up doing because of the gar is that same deal that you guys that have watched me before, it's a steel leader all the way that's got a sliding egg sinker. And I actually backed down in hook size. And I was just using Nightcrawler. So definitely, when you're going out and doing these, they're weird. Sometimes it'll be an hour and all of a sudden they'll switch back to the chub, or they'll go to the crawler or frogs or whatever you got around your area. You got to kind of change it up and see what they want to eat. But for the most part, they were going for the Nightcrawler. I mean, I was catching them on the chub like I said, but I was getting a lot more guard just biting on it and chewing on it. So I had to go versatile, and I went with the steel leader in order to do that. But definitely get out and try some of this, because you can get some catfish doing this. Usually all the time they're feeding, and even when they quit spawning, they'll drop back, but they come up to these areas to feed because that's where the bait fish are. So get out and try some of these spots, and you too will be able to get some nice catfish. Till next time, guys, good fishing.